Are you a skinny fat man, or are you somebody who lacks a little bit of muscle and has this weird proportionate physique? Yeah, so you suffer the cause called the skinny fat physique. I started off in this physique, and it was probably the most annoying physique to start off with because you don't really know what to do. You're stuck. You don't know if you should build muscle, if you should cut fat, if you should just train for a bit and get to know familiar with the gym. You don't know what to eat because your body is obviously disproportionate. And it's basically you're in the middle of being skinny. You're not skinny, you don't have anorexic, you don't have your bones popping out of your chest, and you're also not fat, overweight, and obese where you've got tits sagging all the way to your belt. So if you're in this situation, I'm going to explain you how I got out of this situation and probably save you 4 years of trial, error, everything I kind of fucked up with and didn't know what I was doing, from mixing, trialing, and erroring to what I would do now if I was to go back 4 years later and completely fix my skinny fat physique. So the problem with what happened to me was I was listening to advice from non-skinny fat people, and I was taking advice from people that were skinny. So that started skinny at least, and then built some insane amount of muscle, and then looked like, okay, yeah, that's my dream physique. I want to look that way. But what I should have done is listen to people that have gone from the skinny fat physique to the jacked physique. So what I listened to was people that were skinny, and everybody was telling me, okay, yeah, you just got to bulk, you got to put on as much muscle as possible, you got to eat good foods, you've got to, get big, get strong, etc. So I did this for about roughly a year and a half to 2 years, but the problem was that I just got fat. So I got fat and I built around, still some good muscle because I was lifting heavy, but I went from like 177-ish pounds, 170, looking really skinny fat, to I almost got to like 205 pounds. That was like my heaviest I ever weighed. So I went from skinny fat to fat because I listened to skinny people and they told me, yeah, just bulk. So if you're skinny fat listening to this, this is the most horrible advice ever. Do not take this advice. Do not bulk, because you have still a good enough amount of fat on your body where your insulin sensitivity, meaning your hormone that controls, or at least the most anabolic hormone in your body to build muscle, is not regulated yet and cannot produce and put the food that you feed yourself to good use. So therefore, you're just going to get fat. And then for a year after that, I liked how I looked because I was like huge, but I still felt insecure inside because I was fat. And I was this bulky kid. Yeah, sure, I had muscle. I was relatively strong for like a year and a half of lifting, but I was still insecure and didn't like the way that I looked in the mirror. I had belly rolls, my face was really round. It didn't have like sharp jawline, etc. So then I got in this trap of cutting and bulking for almost another whole year. And what ended up happening was, I would say for 3 months I would cut. So I would lose 10 to 15 pounds. And then I didn't like the way I look, because everybody knows that if you've been working out for a fairly long time, that if you don't stick to the cut for a prolonged period of time and allow yourself to get, to that 9 to 11% body fat, especially while you're cutting, especially while your glucose is low, especially when your muscles aren't filled in because you're in a calorie deficit, you look smaller and you look weaker and you look like you're basically featherweight. And this is the most horrible time to be in, because if you aren't fully committed to the cut like I was, you're just going to also feel worse and look insecure and feel more insecure about the way you look, like I did, because I was like, okay, I'm completely depleted. My muscles have basically shrunken because I've removed the nutrients from my body. I'm in a calorie deficit. Yeah, I'm eating less. Yeah, I'm losing a little bit of fat, but I don't like the way I look, and I'm performing weaker at the gym. I'm not strong anymore. I don't have that massive size like I used to when I had my shirt on. Yeah, I still look pretty shitty with a shirt off, but I'm just not looking the way I am. So I didn't commit to the cut, sorry. And then I started bulking again. And then back I go, back up to overeating, not slowly increasing my calories, but just bringing it back to a surplus over maintenance. And then I would get fat again. And then this ended up happening like 2 to 3 times, where I completely just destroyed my physique in the sense that I didn't stick to one thing. And that one thing that I wish I knew when I first started, when I was skinny fat, is to completely remove all the fat off my body. That is the most important thing you could do as a skinny fat individual. Even if you haven't started lifting weights, even if you haven't started dialing in your nutrition, even if anything, there's no excuses. Just rip off all the fat in your body. Of course, start lifting weights so you can, bring in that muscle size so you don't even look like anorexic, at least when you cut down all your fat. And get rid of all the body fat on your body. And then from there, you can start lean bulking, or at least maintaining your calories in order to grow your size. That's what I would have done, knowing what I know now. Why? Because when you're fat, like if you're skinny fat, you're still fat, right? Like, there's a reason that the name skinny fat is still in fat is still in the name. It's because you still have body fat and you don't like the way you look and you look disproportionate, so you're still fat. You're just skinnier than the obese guys. So what you need to do is completely get rid of all the fat. Don't bulk, don't lean bulk, don't anything. Just cut off all your fat off your body. If you don't know how to do that, just stay in a calories deficit, of 500 calories, lift weights, prioritize protein, and sleep 7 to 9 hours. That's it. Just fucking stick to that, and I promise you're going to get the results that you're looking for. Then, once you've gotten down to roughly 9 to 11% body fat, this is when you can start including slowly, so you don't just absolutely fucking crash your metabolism and go back to where you were because you just started overeating and binging. Slowly increase your calories. Slowly start bringing in more food into your body so that you can be putting that nutrients and putting those calories and putting those macronutrients and those carbs as well, don't be scared of carbs, into your muscles. Because now your insulin sensitivity is fucking working A1. Meaning that your nutrients that you're putting into your body aren't going to feed the fat cells, so you're not going to get fatter like I did. But rather, what's going to happen is you're going to feed the muscle cells directly and feed the muscle fibers and grow them. So take this advice. It's going to save you 4 years of figuring shit out. Because I wish I had somebody tell me this directly, or I wish I did some better research, or whatever. I wish. I know now, for I've learned from my mistakes. Then, when you've bulked up or at least like lean or cut down all your thing, don't worry about bulking. Unless you're a bodybuilder, unless you're trying to compete, unless you're trying to win IFBB Pro competitions, which the average person or the average viewer watching this, I love you all by the way, is not trying to do. All you have to do is, once you get rid of all your fat, once you've gone from the skinny fat to the, roughly aesthetic physique, then all you have to do is just slowly bring your calories up to maintenance, in a span of, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks. And then once you're at maintenance, just lean bulk. That's it. 100, if you're going to be tracking your calories, 100 to 300 calories over your maintenance will be sufficient enough for you to grow in size. Added with cardio, 3 to 5 times a week. If you want to do every day, that's even better. eating relatively clean, 80% whole foods, and you will never have to worry about getting fat again, never looking skinny fat again, and you could just steadily, consistently build muscle, build size, and keep growing your physique bigger and bigger and bigger. And then by the time, if you start when you're, 20 years old, by the time you're 35, you're going to have those physiques that you dream about. But you have to do it right now. And if you're 35 or older watching this, same thing applies to you, but you're just gonna take a little bit longer because, I'm sorry, but your testosterone levels are just slowly decreasing because of age. But that's fine. Doesn't mean you can't optimize your testosterone levels by eating clean, by going to sleep for 7 to 9 hours, and by not drinking alcohol, because that's like the worst thing for your testosterone. And then once you've done that, and once you've completed that, what you're able to do is focus on the things that actually build an aesthetic physique, which is focusing on building a bigger upper body, like your traps, shoulders, chest, and upper lats, to give you that Dorito-sized look. My favorites are rows, bent over rows, bench press, and deadlifts. That will create that amazing upper back Dorito shape. And then obviously, do not skip leg day. You cannot look like a freaking pencil underneath while your upper body is shaped like a Dorito and so aesthetic, and then you take off your pants because you're gonna go sleep with your wife and you look like a ridiculous Dorito with your puny pencil legs. Like, come on. To build an aesthetic physique, you need aesthetic legs as well. And you can build aesthetics, build aesthetic legs. Do not give me this bullshit that, I don't have the leg genetics, I don't have this, I don't have that. You could put on even the skinniest guys. You understand that your legs are the biggest muscle in your entire body. You could pack on the most amount of weight, the most amount of size on your legs. Why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? Why wouldn't you want to put as much weight as you could on your legs when you can actually do that? So don't overlook legs. Don't skip them because, I don't want to go through the pain. Yeah, it sucks for the first couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But it's worth it. And if you stay consistent, that leg pain that you, after training, that you don't want to feel anymore, you're not going to feel it. As long as you stay consistent and as long as you're not killing yourself at the gym. Because I know people go there to kill themselves sometimes, trying to hit PRs every time. You don't need to do that. You don't need to hit PRs every time you're at the gym. All you need to do is just train consistently, adding, every other week or even once a week if you want, adding weight or one more rep to your sets. Not going for those 1 rep PRs because that's just stupid. Maybe do that once a month or every other month just to, test your strength, But besides that, it's irrelevant. It's ridiculous. Especially for most average guys. The average guy is just trying to build a nice physique where he's confident, looks at himself in the mirror, and is happy with the reflection that he sees, paired with the confidence that is going to bring him, whether it be when he's talking to ladies or whether it's in the job interviews, he has the confidence that he needs, or just, having some self-respect because of the discipline and the hard work and the consistency that you put in for yourself. Self-respect is the highest form of respect. Once you respect yourself, once you have a half-decency, smidge of self-respect, respect from other people comes like that. You don't need to ask for respect. You don't need to ask for that. I've never asked somebody to respect me, right? They just see that I respect myself, respect my body, eat clean, and respect other people by the way I talk to them. And then respect is just given. Earned. Respect is earned, not given. One or the other, but you get my point. You get what I'm trying to say. You show respect to yourself, you show respect to others, and then other people in turn will respect you. That's where it comes from. That's how to build an aesthetic physique if you're a skinny fat guy. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'm going to leave you like I do with every video. Create more than you consume, serve others, love everyone. Check out the links if you're new, and if you want to apply for one-on-one coaching, hit the first link in the description. Love you guys. Peace.